Hi everyone, my name is Paria.
Hi, my name is
My name is
New.
I'm
uh,
Chana.
my name is Misha. So today we want to talk about like neuroarchitecture. So we're gonna talk about introduction, methodology, and result, and also we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do for next semester plan. So for introduction about neuroarchitecture, talk about like neuroarchitecture, which is like emerging interdisciplinary field that bridge neuroscience, architecture, and urban design to create a space that positively impact mental health and well-being, and also understanding the relationship between the built environment, urban environment, and neuroscience that has gained significant attention due to its profound implication for improving quality of life. And also by leveraging insight into how the brain perceive and respond to space, neuroarchitecture aim to design environments that promote emotional balance and also reduce stress. So some of the like key notes that I we mentioned here. So like for example, we emphasize that the built environment, urban environment has many elements such as architecture, green space, and environmental contaminant that directly or indirectly impact mental health. And one of the goals that we reach and on the research is to identify these intervention or exposure to better understand how they influence well-being in the cities. So we like during the research and we gathered the article and we tried to put it in confidence. So we were got like a conflict and we struggled to some of the points like what article or what title we should include. Like for example, so the relationship between the built environment and mental health, and also like we were thinking about like urban and also rural, like which we wanted first exclude rural, but then after we think about like both urban and rural areas are crucial for our research. For example, like urban areas highlight the effect of dense population and infrastructure and sensory overload on well-being. On the other side, the rural areas provide perspective on the benefits of natural surroundings and a slower lifestyle, but with potential of isolation challenges. So we choose to not exclude rural. So, and we, let's see, new, yeah, and also, yeah, here. So, and also one of the challenge was like indoor environment, and also we were thinking about so the article that doesn't have like just talking about like indoor environment, we gonna exclude it, and also we thinking about the outdoor and like semi-outdoor, we're gonna include it to our article.
So, for the significance and the purpose of systematic literature review, I'm introduced like our systematic review, like which explore the relationship between the built and like urban environment and their impact on mental health and well-being. So why is it clear that architecture and the urban design influence physical and mental health? The exact connection, like especially how outdoor space and materials impacts cognitive function and well-being, are not yet fully understood. So did review systematically analyze current literature to identify these gaps, like methodology and emerging the trends in the field. So it's focused mostly on like three keys objective that are listing, explore the relationship between outdoor environment and mental health outcome, also highlight method used to evaluate these impacts, like neuroimaging and behavioral analysis. Also provide actionable like insight for urban planners, architects, policymaker, and students in neuroarchitecture. So the purpose we trying to identify these gaps and trends. We also hope to inspire the design that promote like healthier and more resilient community. And also like our approach for the system review, we mainly using confidence, and we trying to like go through almost like 7 steps out of the 9. So we read a lot of like literature about neuroarchitecture. We selected also each of us creating like short terms with the Boolean method formula, and we're using like 6 database like for the search term and export all the files into Confidence. Like we're using Scopius, Sinos, Google Scholar, Info, like PubMed, Web of Science. Those are the main like database that we're using. And then we imported all the file to Covident to go through the title and abstract screening. The abstract screening took us more like about like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because the first time we trying to start with it and trying to use Covident to get used to everything, and after that we go through the full text screening. There's a lot of like contrast between us, but we try to resolve everything after all the meetings. And now we go into extraction and write a review, which could be for the finish in the next semester.
So just like how we started, like you said, we read some literature reviews about neuroarchitecture to get a feel what the field was about. And then after reading those articles, the team kind of discussed what they were interested in neuroarchitecture, and we were mainly interested in like the architecture and the urban aspects on mental health. So the team came up with many different search terms, like you said, and then the professors helped narrow them down into the ones you see on the slide, and they kind of like answer or like we're looking at like how the built environment affects mental health and well-being. So yeah, here the terms just different spellings of mental health and well-being. So we have all the articles that relate to that, and also different aspects and like different words that relate to the built environment. And just quick definitions of our main terms. Like well-being is like including the quality of life, life satisfaction, sense of meaning an individual or group feels. And it includes like many different aspects like mental, emotional, physical, and social, but we're not really focusing on the physical aspect for this review. Also, mental health relates with mental illness, like how people cope with stress and their ability to work productively. And built environment is just like human made and like modified spaces that facilitate human activity. And we're mainly focusing on the outdoor portion of this. Next slide.
As for the search strategies we mainly use 6 databases. For Google Scholar, we have 301 results. Web of Science 45, this 27 Scopus 100, 545, Cycle Information 124, PubMed 16. So uh, as for the strategy to search, we use some Boolean formula in different databases. So this is the example of scopers. So when we use Boolean formula, we will limited the published years from 2014 to 2024, and also limited some disciplines when we use some databases like Google Scholar, uh, Web of Science, or Scopus. Yeah, yeah, that's all. And this is our eligibility criteria sheet. We mainly focus six categories. The first is the population, the second is invention exposure, the third is the context comparator, uh, outcome and others. As for the population categories, we include the adults 16 to 60 and exclude uh, children less than 60 and elderly more than 60. And also, you mentioned we include the built environment and exclude doesn't mention built environment. Also, like outcomes, we will include the mental health or well-being and exclude doesn't mention mental health and well-being, physical health and some violence, crime, and peer victimization. And others we will exclude some articles not English and letters, editorials, essays or other non-peer-reviewed materials. Yeah. So, Misha.
Okay, yeah. So this was like our approach for the title and abstract screening. After we imported the title and abstracts, we read them, and again, like based on the criteria from the previous slide, if it had like something that in the exclusion criteria, then we would exclude it, and then we put comments and like why we excluded it. And if it met the inclusion criteria, then we include it for the full text screening. And also sometimes we put maybe if like it was like unclear or like we had to look at it further in the full text review. And we had some problems with the title and abstract screening. First, like one of the biggest problems was that some did not have abstracts because Google Scholar does not allow them to be imported. So you had to manually add in the abstracts from online to read them. Also, just some general things that we had problems with. It's just you couldn't like access some articles because of the limited access. Some of the abstracts were in like English, but the full text was in another language, so we excluded those. Um, there were also a lot of like terms that were related to mental health and well-being, but not really explicitly stated in the title and abstract. So we had like trouble knowing if like certain terms would be included under those like the mental health and well-being umbrella. Um, Also, with some transportation relating articles, they covered stress, but we excluded them because it's like commute and traffic related stress, which can have a lot of confounding factors that we might not, that we're not like interested in. And
And as we talked about, like some of the problem that we meet and the challenges, like for example, the other one it was about like an age problem, which we challenged about like some of the studies lack detail, like description of the age and demographic like characteristics of the study subject, and some studies like include only like a small number of children or elderly participation with the most subject of age 16 to 60. So, and for that kind of challenge, we had a solution for retail, like a document with like limited representation of the children or elderly participation, but we established like clear criteria for including such a studies. And also for the other problem that we faced with, it was like a built environment problem, which was like some studies that focus only, as I mentioned before, on indoor environment, which were um, kind of irrelevant of the research object. And we, for that, we got a solution for like for the exclude paper that only discussed like indoor environment, but um, yeah, we include those addressing both indoor and outdoor built environment.
Yeah, and as this is our data extraction template, draft template. So we mainly focus, at first we mainly focus on identification like title, author, country, and the second part is the characteristics of, include studies like some methods, some study design will show it in this part. And also we will extract some population data detailedly, and invention exposure part. detailedly for that. And also the last part is the outcome and the result as for the extract detailedly. Yeah, and this is the results of the whole process, and the Prisma will automatically generate by covidence. You can see this one. And also for the next semester, our plan is write the whole system literature review and publish uh, in this journal. And also we will use some data text mining to compare different databases, um, neural architecture, system literature review part, and visualize like this n-gram similarity matrix heat map, correlation similarity matrix heat map, and also cross the other ways to evaluate matrix heat map, and also 2D projection visualization. So in the future.